Sure, sure.
Good evening, Joshua.
Yeah, ma'am, good evening. I
Good
made it
evening.
finally.
Yeah.
Yes, I know this
Thank
is
you
the
for
last lecture, but I'm sure it's worth it.
and you have enhanced, the quality of in tandem with all the guest speakers you've brought so far. So thank you.
Yeah, the little I could offer.
It's made a huge difference.
Right, right. I see some of those very familiar faces. I see one of my own master's classmates here, if I'm not wrong, Nisha Daphne here.
Oh, Nisha's, Nisha?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Nisha was my master's classmate at Bishop Heber.
Good evening, ma'am. Joshua was my friend in Bishop
Uh,
Iber College.
Joshua
Yeah,
is your friend.
yeah, friend, classmate. I'm sorry, I,
Was classmate and
I
your
said,
friend.
yeah, I said classmate.
Hi,
I must have said
Joshua.
hi, hi,
Really,
Nisha.
it's a surprise for me to see here in this forum.
Yeah, yeah,
Happy
yeah.
to see you.
Yeah, pleasure, pleasure. I hope Dr. Juby has joined, ma'am.
She's yes, she
Yeah,
joined. She
all right,
joined.
right,
She joined early.
Good
right,
evening,
right.
sir. I'm here.
Ah, good evening, good evening. Right, all the best for today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So, principal, I don't know. I'm not. She's not coming online. I've been trying to reach her. So we'll take a decision in a minute or two whether to proceed without her. Huh? Yeah. Dr. Rufus has come.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Hello, sir.
Professor Joshua. Hello, ma'am.
Good evening, Anna.
Um,
Good
How are
evening,
you?
Joshua. I'm
How are
fine,
you?
ma'am. So happy to see
Yes,
you
pleasure
on
to
board.
see you after a very long time.
Long time. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
right.
delighted.
Pleasure.
Yes. All the best, ma'am.
Dr.
Thank you.
Rufus, may I introduce Dr. Juby Thomas,
Hello, ma'am.
the keynote speaker for today. She's
Hi,
from
ma'am.
Kristu Jayanti College.
Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Hello, ma'am. So happy to meet you.
Good evening.
Welcome, ma'am. Very good evening, ma'am. Yes.
Juby ma'am, Rufus sir is the patron of our club.
Okay, great.
Yes,
And
ma'am. Yes.
Joy, one of the members of our board.
Okay, great.
Yes.
We have another patron, Srilata ma'am. I think she should be here. Srilata ma'am? Yeah. And our regular speakers who contribute, who support the group here, we have Aparna Srinivas.
Okay.
Aparna, can you say hi? Aparna. So looks like Principal ma'am, I think we need not wait, we'll start.
Yeah,
She,
hi.
hi, Aparna, that's Dr. Juby.
Yeah,
And have you met Joshua?
no, first time. I only spoke to him over the phone.
Okay. See, I'm happy to say that, Aparna flagged it off. Hers was the inaugural address. She spoke on the Booker Prize. And Dr. Juby is speaking on the prize, on prize winning journalism. So it seemed to have covered a range.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, I'm jumping the gun and saying it earlier itself, but fantastic job. Yeah, Preeti, one more year. Like,
Yeah.
kudos to you. It's not easy. I
To the team. And
all of you
I
together.
second Dr. Aparna on this. I second. Yeah.
All of
Very, very good. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, and all of you together, and it needs like a pointer, right? So you are
yeah.
the pointer. So
And the thing is, the students have benefited so much, especially with, Dr. Rufus and Srilata being regulars and giving their feedback on papers presented. I think the students here would be very grateful to them. Srilata doesn't have a video today for some reason. Srilata, you can unmute and speak, right? Okay. Maybe we'll start. Irangumle is the compere for today. Irangumle, you can start.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to meet you all. Shall I start it, ma'am?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. I, Irangom Hebang, PhD scholars of Department of English, Queen Mary College, would like to welcome you all to our Intendant Research Club, Department of English, to our successful completed 16th session of 49th Assembly for the academic year of 2022 to 23 on the theme The Prize Winning Story. The valedictory sessions will begin with the welcome address by Dr. Maria Priti Srinivasan, and our session will be presided over by our respectable principal, Dr. Uma Maheshwari, principal of Queen Mary's College, followed by the report of our works and keynote address prize-winning journalism by Dr. Juby Thomas, coordinator, media studies, Kristu, Jayanti College, Bangalore. So to start off with our session, I would like to welcome everyone in our midst to share, to gain, and to experience the wisdom of our special guest today. Indeed, we are very happy to have you, ma'am, and everyone in our session today. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Maria Priti Srinivas, PhD of our English department, to give us the welcome address. Ma'am, please take your time.
Good evening, everybody. Um, we have come to the last session of in with great joy, not a sense of relief that it's over, but happy about the road we have traveled. We have had 16 sessions, as the invite tells you. Last year we had 22. Nevertheless, we don't count our success by numbers, because this year we have um, pursued a theme. We have, advanced from what we were last year, where we, explored a variety of themes. And the welcome address, of course, is customary, but I am taking this opportunity to thank people who have come here today and who have traveled with us ever since In Tandem started. So I welcome, I actually acknowledge the support of the principal, Dr. B. Uma Maheswari, and she's been with us in the inaugural meet and on several in tandem meets that we've had, and also making inquiries about our progress. So I do not understand why Madam has not been able to join us, but nevertheless, I want to place on record my gratitude to her. I'm grateful to Dr. Juby Thomas for accepting our invitation. And one reason for, having probably lesser sessions than we had last year was it was difficult to schedule a theme-based, um, series. So we were not, we also were lacking confidence here and there about our ability to do it, and also to get resource persons, get students to present. But in spite of it, I think we have done fairly well. And we couldn't have done it without the goodwill and support of people. And as you know, this In Tandem is it's people who have a passion for working after working. Teachers who like to, be available for students after college hours, to have such discussions and meets, and to work even late into the night planning for the next meet, and trying to arrange speakers. It is the coming together of such passionate souls. So Dr. Samuel Rufus, Associate. Thank you so much, sir, for actually being the spark. You were the spark who has lit this idea of the research club. And thank you for having me and Aparna, all of us in research, in your there. We were growing and learning in Dr. Rufus's group. So thank you, Dr. Rufus, for igniting us, as it were, and
Pleasure, ma'am. Thank
helping
you.
us to start this research forum. A faithful, the real here for every session, well ahead of time. She would be the first person to join the meet and give very good feedback, or very valuable feedback, rather valuable feedback to every student presenter. I thank Aparna Srinivasi, Aparna, Padma, Padma Makatish of Stella Maris, Aparna, Director of Emerald Dove Learning. All of us did our PhD at the same time under Professor C.T. Indra in University of Madras. And we had a research club there. So the idea of a research club actually germinated probably way back then in my mind. So thank you, Aparna, the person who flagged off this year's series, for coming and blessing us with your presence today. And I know we have the blessings of all the members, board members. Joshua, to begin with, thank you, Joshua, for all the support you have given in arranging the, please forgive me, I informally call you Joshua, Professor Joshua. Thank you for all the support you have given arranging speakers for this forum, giving our students the exposure that they never would have had otherwise, right? And I'm grateful to Dr. Debashri Dattare from Jadavpur University. So if you look at the report that Nancy would present to you shortly, you would see that many students from Jadavpur University have participated. Students from MCC have participated, thanks to Dr. Rufus. Students from Jharkhand Central University have participated. And this is how far we have come in 2 years. So with the support of people like, Dr. Juby, who's here today, and Dr. Joshua, I think it will be not only a pan-India initiative, a pan-India research club, it's going to be an international research club, because in August, with the help of friends like Dr. Rufus and Professor Joshua, we are going to have an international conference, international postgraduate conference. And that's the unique thing about our work, because we are focusing on postgrad students. So as I've shared in person with many of you here, that the idea of a postgrad conference came when I was a visiting scholar at the University of New South Wales, Sydney in 2006. So when I landed on November 1st in Sydney, I was invited by Professor Paul Sharad to a postgrad conference in Wollongong. So the first, my first outbound trip from Sydney, just immediately after landing, was to the University of Wollongong. So that's when the whole idea of a postgrad conference, gripped my mind, and it was such an amazing thing. The idea that there's a conference exclusively for postgrads, where professors, come to mentor these students. So I don't want to talk much about this, but I just want to share with you the underlying and the purpose tandem. So I think, conferences for professors, we have enough of them. But if we are fueled by a sense of service, a sense of purpose, and we want to serve the student community, postgrad conferences are the way to go. So on this note, I would like to welcome and invite Dr. Juby. Her profile is very impressive, spanning both literature and the other humanities. She is a social scientist, she's a writer, and she is an avid researcher as well. So I feel that the students would stand to gain, especially from this theme, the prize-winning journalism. Okay, so welcome Dr. Juby to this forum, and students and other participants, research scholars, faculty who have joined the meet are waiting to listen to your presentation and listen to your keynote. I also take this opportunity, Dr. Juby, to say, please stay with us in our future endeavors as well. So welcome, Dr. Juby. So welcome one and all. Welcome all my colleagues from the Department of English. You will see all of them on the meet, and postgrad students as well. So thank you so much. Proceed with the next part of the meet. We can welcome Madam to present. I think Dr. Juby, you can take over.
Before report.
Pardon? Yes, you can start.
Sure.
Start
Sure, just give me a second.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, before the report you meant. Sorry, I jumped the gun there. Yes. Sorry, Nancy will present the report.
Good evening, all. I'm greatly honored to deliver this annual report of our In Tandem Fortnightly Symposium at this forum. We had a fruitful session at In Tandem for the academic year 2022-23, mapping the journeys of influential prize-winning text. Award-winning stories were chosen, and totally 16 fortnightly symposia were conducted on various genres. The inaugural session of In Tandem Research Club for the academic year 2022-23 was officiated by Dr. Aparna Srinivas, Director, Emerald Dow Learning, and was flagged off by our Honorable Principal, Dr. Uma Maheshwari Ma'am. The theme for this academic year is the prize-winning story. The keynote speaker for the day was Professor P. Ajay Kumar, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Kerala. The session was enlightening with the expertise of academicians across the nation. On August 12, 2022, the second research meet of In Tandem Research Club was held on the title The Prize-Winning Story Janpith Award. Dr. Batma Mekadish, Associate Professor, Department of English, Telamaris College, delivered the keynote address. Mr. Saunyal, Research scholar, Jadavpur University, Kolkata, presented a paper on mapping the Indian village as a site of change, class struggle, and social transition in Ganadevata. On August 19, 2022, the fortnightly research meet of In Tandem Research Club was held with the title The Prize-Winning Story, Canada's Governor General Award. Re-articulating Canadian literature, a prize-winning story, was a keynote address delivered by Dr. Debasty Tattare, Associate Professor, Comparative Literature and Deputy Coordinator, Centre for Canadian Studies, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. Ms. Aliya Das, Research Scholar, Department of Comparative Studies, Jadavpur University, presented a paper on Michael Good's Five Little Indians. On September 16, 2022, the research meet was held on the title The Prize-Winning Story, Commonwealth Writers' Prize. Keynote speaker Dr. Aparna Srinivas shared her expertise on Commonwealth Prizes as a publisher. Two papers were presented during the session by Ms. Sanjana Singh, independent scholar, on Fine Balance by Rohinton Mystery, and by Ms. Monica Rani, junior research fellow, Department of English Studies, Central University of Jharkhand, presented a paper on Purple Hibiscus by Adichie. On October 28, 2022, a panel discussion was held on the topic The Prize-Winning Story Crime Fiction Award. The panelists were Dr. Bonani, Associate Professor, Retired, Department of English, Ranchi University, Jharkhand, and Dr. Bhattachary, Associate Professor, Department of Physics, Sikkim University. Mr. Kunjan Kumar, Junior Research Fellow, Department of English Studies, Central University of Jharkhand, Ranchi, presented a paper on Perfect Murder, CWA's Gold Dragon Award. On December 19, 2022, our symposium was held on the topic The Prize-Winning Story, Lambda Literary Award, with a keynote address by Dr. Lisa Thomas, an independent researcher focusing on the title The Legacies of LGBTQ Literatures and Lives, Understanding the Relevance of Lambda Literary Award. Ms. Monica Rani, Junior Research Fellow, Department of English Studies, Central University of Jharkhand, presented a paper on Under the Udala Tree and Happiness Like Water. And Ms. Sandhya Devi, Research Scholar, Presidency University, Bangalore, presented a paper on Samra Habib's Acquire Muslim Memo. On December 30, 2022, the fortnightly symposium was held on the theme Booker Prize winning novels. The session was chaired by Dr. Aparna Srinivas, Director, Emerald Dow Learning. Dr. Maria Priti Srinivasan presented a paper on the outlaw heroes in Peter Carey's The True History of the Kelly Gang. Ms. Muller, 2nd MA English, Madras Christian College, Chennai, presented a paper on Unheard Silences in Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things. On January 13, 2023, the symposium was held on the theme The Nobel Prize for Literature. Dr. Shivaraman, Associate Professor, Department of English, Presidency College, Chennai, chaired the session. Ms. Saistri, Independent Research Scholar, presented a paper on Nobel Prize for Literature, institution of the prize and process of selection. And Ms. Seneville, 2nd MA English, Madras University, presented a paper on parallel reading of award announcement and acceptance speech of the Nobel laureates. On January 20, 2023, the research meet was chaired by Dr. Vinitha Francis, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Queen Maris College, on the theme Nobel Prize winning novel between 2010 and 2022. The paper titled Alice Munro, Master of the Contemporary Story, was presented by Ms. Kavya Bharti, ML Data Associate at Amazon, and Harold Pinter and Domestic Oppression by Ms. Sophia, ML Data Associate at Amazon. On January 27, 2023, Mrs. Aparna, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Anna Adarsh College for Women, Chennai, chaired the session on Pulitzer Prize. Mr. Vijay Balkumar, First MA English, LN Government College, Ponneri, Tilvarur District, presented a paper on origin and background of Pulitzer. And Ms. Lokesh Meena, 2nd MA English, University of Madras, presented a paper on Alice Walker's Color Purple. On February 3, 2023, the research meet was held as a second session on Pulitzer Prize, Classics and Translation, with Dr. Meghna Mudaliar, Associate Professor, Department of English and Cultural Studies, Christ University, Bangalore, as chairperson. Snowlin of First MA English, Queen Maris College, presented a paper on Old Man and the Sea. Mrs. Harriet Sheba Freddy, Assistant Professor, SRM University, SRM Institute of Hotel Management, Katangulathil, presented a paper on Harriet Bishopstow. And Mr. Sayan, Research Scholar, Department of Comparative Literature, Jadavpur University, presented a paper on presented a presented a paper on Pulitzer Prize and ecological implications. On February 17, 2023, the research meet chaired by Dr. Deepa Priyadarshini, Assistant Professor of the Department of English, Madras Christian College, Chennai. The topic for the day was Sahitya Academy Award-winning novel between 2010 and 2022. The history of the Sahitya Academy Award was presented by Ms. Sri Abhirami, independent researcher, and the rise of Ambai's A Redneck Green Bird was presented by Mr. Ganesh Aditya of 2nd MA English Literature, Madras Christian College. On February 24, 2023, symposium was held on the title The Cross-Meaning Award. Dr. Maria Priti Srinivasan, Head and Associate Professor, Department of English, Queen Maris College, and Dr. Sadhana, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Queen Maris College, jointly shared the session. Ms. Jayavarshini of First BA English Literature, Queen Maris College, presented a paper on the title Origin and Evolution of the Cross-Winning Award with Bamas Karukku. On March 10, 2023, the research meet was chaired by Dr. Nagaradhika, independent researcher, Australia-India Council Fellowship Awardee. The topic of the session was Australia's Smile Franklin Award. Dr. Asha, Assistant Professor, Central Polytechnic College, presented a paper titled Decoding the Hoover of Kin Scott. And Ms. Jayavarshini of First BA English Literature, Queen Maris College, presented a paper on Anne Funder's All That I Am. On April 10, 2023, the In Tandem Research Club was held on the theme JCP Prize for Literature. The session was chaired by Mr. Chinnappa, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph University, Bangalore. Mapping the interconnectedness among the land, flora, and human in God's own country through Mushtaj by H. Arish was presented by Ms. Senevel P., 2nd MA English of Madras University. On April 15, 2023, the fortnightly symposium of the In Tandem Research Club was held on the title Fiction to Film, the prize winning story. The session was chaired by Dr. P. Siddharth, Assistant Professor, PG and Research, Department of English, Presidency College, Chennai. The following papers were presented, examining the multifaceted medium of a streetcar named Desire by Ms. Sweta of First MA, University of Madras. Theorizing adaptation from fiction to film, a study of selected work by Kavya Bharti, ML Data Associate, and Split Screen to Big Screen by Ms. Senavit of 2nd MA, University of Madras. And here we are in our last session, and today is a valedictory, and our topic is prize-winning journalism. And I thank our patron and Dr. Maria Priti Srinivasan for their kind support.
Thank you, Nancy, for sharing the reports. Coming to the main part of our sessions, we have Dr. Judy Thomas to address the keynote on prize-winning journalism. Dr. Judy Thomas is a renowned Indian social scientist, author, and academician with a decade of teaching, research, and on-field experience. Dr. Thomas has established herself as a thought leader and a visionary in the field of journalism, photojournalism, and public relations during the pandemic. 2 years of her research work has a featured by United Nations in its Impact Journal. In 2021, she was conferred with the Chanakya Award of Excellence in Research Education in the national and international category by Goa Chief Minister, and in 2022, she bagged the Indian Prime Icon Award for Author and Research category. Dr. Thomas continued to share the experience with the international academia and national, and is a board of exams and board of studies member of 9 prestigious Indian institutions. Beyond her work, she is also passionate mentor for student and professional alike, and has conducted sessions on personality development, leadership skills, life skills, social media addictions, and research methodology in India and abroad. Dr. Thomas believed that true excellence comes from fostering growth throughout the community. Her deep network of industrial and professional leadership testament to her endeavor to manage academy and vocational with practical experience. Currently, she is heading the post-graduation department of media study in Kristu Jayanti College in Bangalore. Now, with such an amazing person, I'm sure we will learn many things today. And I so like to welcome her to deliver her knowledge and experience in a minute. Please take your time, ma'am.
So, good evening, everyone. And I would like to thank the entire organizing team for giving me an opportunity. And also thank you, Professor Joshua, for introducing me to this amazing forum. And the moment Pridhiman told me the theme for the session is all about prize winning journalism, I sat for a moment and I was, thinking, what to talk on prize winning journalism. And in fact, I asked ma'am, where did you get this idea from? I never thought in my lifetime I will be talking about prize winning journalism in any of the sessions, but it is really interesting to see that a group of people are, studying systematically winning in the history from all spheres of life. And there are two ways. If you look at this picture that is depicted on the screen, There are two ways of looking at it. I might have kept it just to tell you that I come from this college. So if I just plainly tell you that I come from Kristu Jayanti College, the impression is little lesser compared to when I say that I come from an institution which has several achievements and awards. Maybe like we may be the youngest one who have got NAC A++. We are ranked by India Today for best emerging college in India. Recently, we were awarded for best technology and environment implementation in the campus from the Ministry Government of India. So, if I started talking about these achievements about this institution, your perception varies. So, when I got an opportunity to think about prize winning journalism, just like a journalist, we journalists are trained to ask five questions. You see a snake, ask five questions. You see a concept, you ask five questions. You see an accident, we are trained to ask five questions. The five questions that we are trained to ask is definitely what, when, where, why, and how. So when I got an opportunity to ponder over this topic, I asked myself the five W's and one H of journalism. And uh, I would like to start with asking you the same question. We may not be able to share your views, but you can answer to yourself. Do awards matter? I'm sure you got the answer. But for me, when I started pondering over do awards matter, I went back to my nursery school or the play school. So the award or pricing ceremony began from there. And then I just moved ahead with how the system works in the India journalism sector, and I understood that award is a social construction. If award is a social construction, what does it stand for? It stands to segregate the society into two classifications, maybe as winners and losers. So, can we appreciate or does this classification matter to us? Was the second question that came to my mind. Do we need to bother about these kind of award classifications between winner and the loser? So the thought process went ahead, and then I was able to identify the purposes of award ceremonies. So only a journalist can think in these lines. I do not know how many of you might have thought about in the same direction. But if it is just a classification between the winners and the losers, why should we continue with this social construction? Is what I was, pondering over. Then I came to a conclusion where it adds so much of value to me as a person, and also at the same time it adds a lot of value to the society. So, what are the various values that an award can add to me as an individual? Is definitely recognition and validation. The moment I started by saying to you that I come from an institution, the youngest institution which has an A++ accreditation, that itself is adding value to me as well as adding value to the institution. It also provides a kind of recognition. Then definitely all the teachers who are here will agree to me that it adds value for promotion. So there is an API score calculation for the teachers, and it has a point associated with it, and it helps you us to get better promotions and better hikes. And it also adds publicity. And it's not only add value to us, it also adds value to the institutions where you as a student or you as a faculty who are employed, where we are employed, it adds value there as well. Then the kind of, as a journalist, when we get a privilege to attend a lot of award ceremonies, the next benefit I have received is definitely the networking and the connections. So whenever we attend an award ceremony, we get to meet a lot of legendary people, and we get to connect with them and network with them, and then that itself is a kind of transformation for all of us. Then definitely, if you are into some community services, and if you have some national or global achievements to showcase, definitely that adds most of us to get fundraising and donations, because definitely it leads to the first point, that is recognition and validation. Then such kind of awards improve the standards of the industry. So as individuals we get the best out of the industry which where we are in, if these kind of award ceremonies take place. And then I started thinking about, if these are beneficial to me, how it will be beneficial to the society. That is when I started recognizing that most of us live with a hope. The hope is that we will have a better tomorrow. I will achieve this. I will be like Abdul Kalam, or I will get Oscar award. So these kind of inspirations and motivations is a driving force for all of us to live the very next day, or work hard towards a better future. So definitely the society, in society, the awards and achievements provide a lot of inspiration and motivation. And can you imagine a market which does not have competition? Do you think that you will get the best soap, or the shampoo, or the best education? And it promotes the healthy competition, definitely increases the standard of whichever industry we are working in. Then award ceremonies can bring even attention to some important issues. It can also, make a positive difference in the society and enhance reputation. So even if it creates a division between the winner and the loser, it awards acts as a, it has two sides of the coin. That's what the journalism awards are teaching us. And these are some of the top 10 global awards. And on the right hand side, I have listed top 10 national awards. When we talk about the global and the national award, for me personally, I cannot connect so much with the global awards because it is so far for us to achieve. But they are very popular, and those awards can even, give, those who have got national awards can always hope for the global awards. But for me, why the global awards are so far and not so inspirational, or sorry, I can't say it is as inspirational, but I never felt so closer because we have worked harder to reach there. Whereas these national awards are very, very closer to my heart. Why? Because recently one of my students achieved the Ramnath Goenka Award in the National Journalism category, which is considered to be the most prestigious one. And some of my friends have achieved the Ladli Media Awards and Mumbai Press Awards. So those closeness between or association of people around us achieving these awards also makes awards most memorable and favorite for us. Whereas the global award, which I have highlighted here, is Pulitzer Prize Award, is the journalism's biggest award across the globe. And this awards, each of these awards teaches us a lesson in journalism. That's what I would like to talk to you today. So what the journalism awards taught me is, definitely compared to any other sector, journalism has more number of awards. We as mass communication and journalism professionals, we deal with film, we deal with the television, we deal with the newspaper, we deal with many sectors, and each of these sectors play a vital role in the society. And all of this sector has annual events which recognizes people. So each of the awards, when I attend as a participant, what it teaches me, or when I visit there as a journalist, what it teaches me is definitely primarily how to build a brand. Now look at the right hand side picture. The way the lady is standing, the way the lady is holding the trophy, the way she's posing for the photograph itself speaks about her, and the way she's been groomed, or how her personality is all about. So every award ceremony in journalism that taught me how to brand myself, or how to brand the industry, or how to brand the institutions that I come from. And I'm sure most of us who are sitting over here might have been inspired by some of the awardees. And that creates an aspiration within ourselves to brand ourselves better. The second biggest learning I had from the journalism awards is how to deliver a speech. In lifetime, all of us might have seen thousands and thousands of speeches that are delivered by the winners in many functions. Now, as the images depicts on the screen, some of them were humorous, some of them were emotional, some of them were thought-provoking. And each of those speeches gives us various strategies and tactics how to deliver a speech. So hereafter, when you are attending or when you are watching an award ceremony or when you are participating in an award ceremony, we can closely observe people how they deliver speeches and how they hook the audience attention. And the third best learning that I have got from the journalism based award ceremonies are definitely how to make newsworthy stories from the speeches of the award winners. So we journalists are, trained to look up to for stories. They say that journalists should have a nose for news in everything that they see. So even from a smallest of the smallest speech, how can you make a news story or a news story idea for making a video content or a news write-up? So this kind of thought-provoking process we go through when we witness an award ceremony. And most significantly, I would like to emphasize on these two messages or these two learning which I had from the journalism sector award series. First one, it helped me to segregate myth versus reality. Now, when you talk about award, if suddenly someone is messaging you or calling you and say that tomorrow you are going to get a Nobel Prize, that might be too extreme. But tomorrow you're going to receive any prize or any award. We feel that a lot of butterflies are flying around us, and we are going to sit with an a feeling. All of us, if we are human beings, all of us go through the same process where all of us are going to feel that tomorrow the whole world is going to talk about us, praise us, appreciate us, and our hard work has made us reach this level. And you feel a lot of butterflies flying around you, even sometimes that kind of feeling within yourself. But the journalism awards are teaching us, maybe because it's we are the ones who deal with individuals very closely, and most of the journalists have whoever receives an award has a probability of getting themselves highlighted in the media. So these kind of awards teaches us a lot of lessons. So the biggest as we mentioned over here, the biggest or the largest or the most recognized journalism award across the globe is definitely the Pulitzer Prize. So I can't talk about all the prize awards, but we will take the best one and we will look at it, how these awards can break the myth versus reality. Now, the man whom you see on this picture is popularly known as Kevin Carter. Kevin Carter was 1994 Pulitzer Prize winner, and he got the Pulitzer Prize. The world's best journalism prize is Pulitzer Prize, as I mentioned earlier. He got this award for the picture that is placed on the screen, and this picture is popularly known as the vulture and the little girl. And once I remember reading an interview of Kevin Carter, who spoke about how he captured this image. He waited 20 minutes in the hot scorching sun to capture this image, and he still waited there, thinking that he will, the vulture will fly and he will get an image of stretched wings of the vulture and the child in the frame. So this picture was taken in a situation where the civil war was happening in Sudan, and what this when he got this Pulitzer Award for this image, which he dedicated 20 minutes to capture. He had taken a lot of war photographs, but this picture was of the talk of the town, and that had got a lot of attention. And thank God he was not living in the era of Twitter. But the award that he received in 1994 was questioned by a lot of people. They wrote to the media house who published this photograph and asked a question, how can you publish this photograph? And the biggest question that the people questioned him those days was, why did he save the child? Instead, why was he waiting there 20 minutes clicking the picture? So then the questions continued like, do you think he made the right decision? Each of you can answer now. When these questions were asked him then, why didn't he save the child? Do you think he made the right decision? Do you think he should have never intervened? What would you have done differently if you were in the same place? Did he deserve the Pulitzer Prize for this particular photo where he put the child for the vulture to eat? So these were the conversations that happened then. And this picture is of newsworthiness even today, because today we are living in the era of Twitter and Instagram and all the other social media. And these are some of the tweets I have brought in from 2021, which talks about, was he what he did is right. And most of the situations where, if you read the tweets here itself, it says that uh, he was scared and still he waited, and he was the one who chased the vulture go away from the child. And he was also asked why he didn't save the child. Then he said an answer that he couldn't. The last tweet, if you read, you will be able to understand. He couldn't help the child because the foreigners were not allowed to touch the localites at that time because of some fear of epidemic that was existing over there. So he had all these reasons to tell. But to my surprise, what happened? The winner of the world's best journalism award committed suicide after or within a year of winning this award, because he couldn't tolerate or he couldn't take the questions that the people posed towards him. So that is what I am connecting here with awards being a social construction. So the social construction of award can go to an extreme level of criticizing people, and that there is a huge difference between myth and the reality. The awards may not be perceived as what you felt with the all around the butterflies. That's what the journalism awards are teaching us. And the next biggest lesson that the journalism award taught me is definitely to get inspired and think out of the box. We meet a lot of people who are winners of awards, and each of their stories are different. Each of their way of thinking is different, and that definitely inspire each of us as journalists, and that makes us think out of the box. I have brought another example here. I do not know how many of you are aware about this individual called Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh, I think during the pandemic, when we were all having lockdown, he was awarded the UNESCO's Global Best Teacher Award. And the prize money was $1 million, which may be something said as to be 7 crore 38 lakhs. So what when he virtually they announced that he is being awarded for this particular prize, Global Teacher Award by the UNESCO. In his speech, in the award ceremony, I said even the speeches can inspire us so much. He announced that there are 10 other finalists, and I would like to share the prize money with all the others, because for me, equally, they are also winners, because it is their hard work that has brought them in the final rounds. So there are a lot of people who think differently, who make difference in the society, and we as journalists, when we work with them, when we witness them winning these prizes, and when we see how they think out of the box, sometimes how they find it difficult to cope with the realities. Even, to an extent, if you talk about the winners of lottery tickets who have, won millions or crores of rupees, or lakhs of rupees, the kind of journey they go through, when we closely observe them, that leads me to, focus on one thing, that is definitely awards are a social construction, and we should have the maturity to understand that this has two sides of the it has just like the coins having two sides, it also can inspire us at the same time. It can also breaks us down. That's what the journalism award winning stories does to us. With that, I wind up. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And you can get in touch with me, juby@kristujayanti.com.
Thank you, Dr. Juby. I must honestly confess that I never reflected on the other side of the prize winning story, because my concept note didn't address this point that you raised, that it is a construct. So thank you for adding that dimension. So, and I think when we take up this topic to deliberate at an international conference level, maybe we will modify our concept note to address this issue as well. So yeah, over to the others to give their appreciation, their comments, share their questions. I did see Padma Mekatich on the call, and Dr. Shobha, Anna University. I think Padma
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Shobha.
So it was quite a very interesting take on how awards are constituted, because sometimes, like when she said, all the finalists will have qualified for that particular award. After reading their texts, they would have selected. But then what happens is, due to several other social and political reasons, one person may not win it. So it's a different ball game altogether. And like you rightly pointed out, there are several other criteria that as consumers, nowadays the word is not consumers, it's prosumers, because we also produce and we consume literature, writing, culture, and all these things. So it's quite interesting how you have put it across, ma'am. Thank you for that very insightful and thought-provoking talk, I should say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Right. All right. So thank you very much, Dr. Juby, for that stupendous presentation. I must confess that, like ma'am said, that there are different dimensions that one must definitely look into, not necessarily the positives, but also the hindsight of it, the negative side of it. I just recently completed a postgraduate diploma in literary translation from the University of Ahmedabad University. And so in one of our concluding lectures, we had this discussion because it was JCB that funded our entire program. So we were all funded by the JCB. And in one of our classes, we had this discussion about the very process of translation and how this book recently was the winner of the translation, and it was Perumal Murugan's book, The Paya. I don't know if it is really relevant to the context of our discussion, but let us, could you please take us to the process of the politics that goes in choosing anything as such? Why? Because I am not really sure if that person, the photographic journalist, would have definitely had that in mind when he shot that picture, to ensure that he becomes a multimillionaire by winning that $1 million prize. But what could be the politics that go behind choosing people, right? When I read the work Paya by the translator, who is an Indian, but he lives now in the United States of America. And when you go through it, there are so many flaws in the translation, whereby the Tamil original seems to have been misappropriated in capturing it in the translation. So from the journalistic standpoint, in trying to choose a particular winner for the award, are there politics behind it? How do we really approach it?
Definitely yes, and I do not know whether we are recording this and putting it in the virtual platforms, so I may not be openly able to discuss about it. But yes, we if you start with the journalism award winners, if you conduct a study, it's definitely a beautiful area to further explore and conduct studies. There is, whichever ruling party is, whether within the state or national, you'll say an inclination towards who has an inclination towards the party will definitely be getting a chance of winning. We have seen that. Okay, and then for media, it begins even from certifications and approvals, registrations. It begins from there, and it goes even to the recognitions and the award ceremonies. I think if it could have been an offline mode, I could have discussed further about it. I'm extremely sorry.
The reason why I asked you that question is because you started off with a question, whether to agree upon yes or a no. And I would definitely say it's both a yes and a no. On the one aspect, there are people who are motivated because of certain prize winners. But on the hindsight, not many people are also aware of the fact that there are so many processes and politics that go behind the very, choosing of candidates for, the final. So on and so forth.
Even in the fashion shows and the other pageant competitions and all, we have heard and such similar incidents. So it's not in one sector alone; it is spread across the sector.
Please allow me to. Please allow me to just interrupt a bit. I think Preeti ma'am will understand why I have just barged in this question. Joshua sir, that was an interesting question. Yes, when you ask about the translatability of a text or translatability of a culture, we are asking a bigger question there, right? There are a lot of other underpinning or under layers that are working on that. Not only that, also when you mentioned about this particular translator. Now that particular translator is a very good friend of mine, and we did our MAs and PhDs together, and now he is doing his PhD at the University of Texas, Austin, and he also received the Sahitya Academy's Translator Award for his one-part woman. Right, Madhura Bhagan was given, and if you read the preface very carefully, it is with great humility that the translator writes how it is very difficult for the translator to work with the concepts that are discussed by the author. Now the translator also hails from in and around areas of Kumbakonam of Tamil Nadu. So he is a person, Anirudh Vasudevan, he is a person who kind of knows the like what we call in Tamil the man vasane of that particular area, and with great humility he has also said the difficulties in translating the cultural aspects of the text. I think this is true with any other text for that matter. When we read the original and when we read the translated version, somehow we are never happy. We always think the book is better than the movie, or the original is better than the translation. That shows the way we have understood literature and the way we consume literature also. But yes, that is in fact a great question to ask, and like Juby ma'am very cautiously evaded answering that question in a public forum like this. I think that knowing more about the translator will also help us in understanding the process of translation itself, right?
Right. I'm really grateful that you stepped in to answer. Right. One of the things that caught my attention, if I were to, sort of respond to it, is capturing something like Siraga Samba Arisi. You don't necessarily say it's cumin seed rice. That's, like you said, it is something to the effect of manvasana and or manidar, right? I don't think a person would, go on to miscapture the very essence of it. So there are so many things that, the jarring ideas that, were sort of pointed out by some of our own peers. We had to go through the original and the translation to identify this, not necessarily to nitpick, rather to also understand how this very idea of prize winning itself goes on, because it's a humongous money, whereby, like Dr. Juby also pointed out, there are so many people who are inspired by a particular act of giving this award. But at the same time, I think we also need to be mindful of so many other factors as well, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Very true. Thank you. Well taken.
I hope you're not offended by the fact that I spoke about your
Not
friend.
really,
Yeah.
because like when you said the cumin seed rice, it also struck a chord with me, and I was wondering whether any of us would kind of do that, or was maybe if cumin seed really has some kind of a connection to the rice variety, because the translator also does a lot of research before text, translating the text itself. Yeah. Thank you.
And for friends here who haven't met Professor Joshua, he's commissioned to translate for OUP. He's working under Dr. Mini Krishnan. And he's got a lot of translations lined up for publication. Yeah, I just wanted to share.
Looking forward to read your translations also.
And rip it apart as well.
Dr. Juby, thank you for actually, puncturing a hole in my concept note. Because when you asked me about why this theme, and it was a telephone call, but I could actually see your smile at the end of the line, and it was a smile, a quizzical smile, which bothered me. So the tone and whatever it said, that I all is not well with my concept note. So and today I understood what really was the missing link, as it were, or what was the gap, if it were. So it's
No,
not this. Yeah.
ma'am, see, any other awards, we don't look at it that angle. Only in journalism, we are able to see that because we are closely associated with those people and hear their stories, follow up their journey ahead. So that close association is what makes us think in that level. Otherwise, normally in any other sector, we will not look in the this dimension. So your concept
I
note was
want
perfect.
No, I wanted to share one concern I had along the way, when guiding students about selecting texts for their presentation. I felt bad about not suggesting texts which were shortlisted. You have, for the awards, you have the short list and the long list. So if a text doesn't make it to the award, but a text is a shortlisted text, does it not qualify as prize winning story?
It is equally worth.
Yes. So when we come to our conference, we need to really flesh out our concept note, Joshua, a little more, and sound, plug all the holes in our concept note in our presentation.
You're absolutely right, ma'am. In the sense, I remember having taught this one particular poem. I don't remember who's the author. Someone with the name starting with Robert. The very art of losing itself. We are all trained, like Dr. Juby very categorically pointed out right at the beginning of our lecture, that it's a social construct, and we are always made to win, we are always made to compete, and so on and so forth. But don't you think, as students of literature, as scholars and faculty members of literature, it's also essential that we must appreciate a work of art as a work of art, irrespective of whether
Winner or
it is a winner or a loser, because I'm going back to the age old touchstone method. How it is not necessarily something that we need to look at, rather uh, read Wordsworth and Shakespeare equally, in the same light as some of our own writers, who are not necessarily given enough and more importance. To add to Dr. Shobha, who pointed out, Madhurubagan, one part woman, gained a lot of importance or significance because of the translation and not because of the original. There was a lot of furore in Tamil Nadu only because it was translated, and people were really worried about the manner in which the inside stories were brought to limelight, right? Otherwise nobody was bothered in the original. So I think there are fascinating politics, there are fascinating discussions that emerge one after the other, layers and layers of ideas that we could sort of promulgate and talk about. And I think it's very interesting, and I think we need to look at multifarious perspectives rather than limiting it to just one dimensional, one perspective, so to speak.
That is true. I mean, we are not, valorizing, or we are not trying to bring out the virtues of an award-winning story, but we have problematized it, even in our concept note, and spoken about the geopolitics. For instance, all the politics of representation, all the current issues that will get the attention of the award uh, instituting bodies and award giving bodies. So there is a politics to it. So not that it is a fact. It is a fact that we acknowledge that if a story doesn't win an award, it doesn't mean it isn't. Um, its value is any less. Uh, does anyone else have anything to share? So otherwise, Irangumle can take us through the rest of the evening and wrap up this evening for us.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wisdom and knowledge. It was such a wonderful session indeed. With your presence, I'm sure everyone must have learned a lot from you today. I wish you the very best for your future and continue to inspire and be a role model for the people around you. You're such a blessing to the society. Thank you very much once again. Lastly, but not the least, I want to thank each and every one of you present here to witness our 16 valedictory sessions of In Tandem. And special thanks, I would like to give special thanks to Dr. Judy Thomas, Coordinator, Media Study 50, Jayanti College, Bangalore, Dr. Maria Priti Srinivasan, HOD, Department of English, Queen Mary College, Professor Joshua, part-time faculty, Christ University, and independent researcher for gracing us with your presence and dedication towards your work, towards our work. And also to Nancy and Narmata, PhD scholar, for your dedication to complete the reports and the sessions, and all the participants and all the people who have attended this session. I would like to give special thanks. Without you, we will not be able to complete. Without you, we will not be able to take this session, but it is because of your presence we were able to complete this session. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we sign off, I need to introduce you two people. Finally, Dr. Srilata has got her connectivity. So Dr. Srilata, she's the patron, one of the patrons. Srilata, Dr. Juby, and on the right you have Professor Joshua. I've been telling you a lot about him. Unmute, Srilata.
Yeah, I love the interaction it created. I always wondered how you, I mean, sometimes are you all very heartless? I mean, journalism, is it heartless? We wonder. Yeah, but I think you've given us the politics of that also. Just like people take video on the road when there is an accident, right? And we keep watching on the thing, and now I keep wondering who took that instead of taking that person to taking action to take that person to the hospital or something else. But we need somebody to also picture these things I was touched by that story of the journalist.
Kevin Carter, ma'am.
Yeah, Kevin
Yeah.
Carter, who committed suicide. I mean, I hadn't heard the second bit of the story. I've seen this picture, but never heard the second part of the story. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, somebody is there, and we've read so many stories, so many novels there are, which talk about the way journalists, I mean, go to war zones and all other places to do all these things. So they, it's true. They too deserve an award for telling us, showing us what the reality is. So I'm so happy. I listened to your entire story. Only thing is, I was moving with my phone outside instead
Okay.
of sitting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to introduce Irangumle. Irangumle? Yeah, our compeer for this evening. She's my research scholar, and she's from Nagaland. She's already been published by Zubang, and yeah, she's working on the stories of her tribe, the Zeelang tribe.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's come all the way from Nagaland to Chennai and studying at Queen Mary's College.
Okay.
So thank you, Rangumle. You did a fantastic job as compeer for this evening.
So we're not stopping
Uh,
with this.
ma'am,
We are continuing.
good evening,
We are
good evening
continuing
to everyone, ma'am. Preeti,
into
can I have a word?
no, we will be continuing
Hello?
into a kind of
Preeti, this is Bala.
Balambike wants to say something.
Yeah.
Balambike, the additional
Yes,
HOD
ma'am.
of English Queen Mary's. Yes.
Good evening to everyone, ma'am. And we are really blessed, and the Department of English is really blessed and very fortunate to have Preeti heading the department. And she has been a great inspiration to all of us. And this is really a challenging task, and organizing and coordinating with the resource persons and such things. And she has been successfully doing it for 2 years, and really we are very proud of her. We are very thankful to Dr. Maria Preeti Srinivasan. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you so much. I pray and wish that you continue with this intellectual sessions more and more, and be invaluable, giving an invaluable sessions like this to our students. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, Bala, and thanks to each of my colleagues for making me a happy person, if I have to put it in simple words. Juby, I'm very happy with my work at Queen Mary's. I can't ask for anything better. I'm happy. I'm really God has given me good friends all along the way, and I have grown because of my association with Srilata, with Aparna, with Padma, with and now God has brought Joshua into that train of people in my life. So I'm really grateful for this. I can't ask for a better academic life. Thank you, and please stay with us, Dr. Juby, and we'll also keep in touch with you.
Sure, ma'am. And
Yeah,
thank you.
I also would like to add this particular thing. When ma'am asked me, award-winning journalist and a keynote speaker, I didn't have a second thought, ma'am. Let me be very honest and open, brutally honest here. The first name that came to my mind was Dr. Juby Thomas. And, for all the things that she has done to me, I thought something that I must reciprocate, and I think I did it. So thank you very much for accepting.
And I do not know whether how many of them are aware that Joshua sir is my professor.
Oh. I'm
his student.
Okay.
Yeah, probably
lovely,
a student
lovely.
friend, yes.
And yes, one more person I would really fail in my duty if I don't introduce is Nancy. Nancy, who presented the report. She is the secretary of the research club, and she is the person behind the scenes. She creates the link, she makes the invite, and I can count on Nancy.
Okay.
So yeah, Nancy, thank you so much. If you can come for a moment, yes, dear.
Yeah, we saw her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm reminded of that particular the dialogue from this movie Troy, where the greedy king Agamemnon says, history remembers kings like Agamemnon and not soldiers like Achilles. We don't really remember people who work behind stage. So I think, it's a fascinating job. There are so many people who work behind screen, and it's such a wonderful thing, because I may not necessarily, be someone who participated in almost all the events that I've taken far in the uh, you know, taken over in the last 1 year, but I'm definitely aware of all the proceedings that have happened, and I think well begun is half done. I think this is just the beginning, and I think we need to scale heights and make sure that there are more participants, and I'm sure we will be able to pull it through. Thank you for the opportunity given, and thank you very much.
I think the journey will continue till we have this seminar, no, sometime next year.
Yeah, we are going to have the international conference. I've already sounded the Australian consulate on, staff on it. I will keep you all posted on the progress we make, and also spoken to the U.S. consulate. So I need to send that email which I haven't done. So I'll do it. Okay. See you all. God bless, and we'll meet in July. We'll begin our next in tandem on the 14th of July, which is the founding day of QMC. So yeah, see you. Bye. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shobha. Thank you, Shobha.